Hey everybody, hi. My name is Sandeep Krishnan and I'm the founder of a company called Raise Joy Ignitions Private Limited. And this company is basically an aggregation platform for e-donations, as the name suggests. And we connect NGOs, institutions, and the common public to collect funds, to receive funds, and to collect funds. And we also connect the corporates who can donate, raise a campaign on any of the NGOs that's around them or anywhere that they want. And we have multiple layers on our platform. So we also have, we have donation services. We also have services where you can create events. We also have a social media service. So it's all put together in one particular platform. So today I wanted to talk to you about something which I personally feel is important for every entrepreneur, and that's about starting a company. And you need to know as a entrepreneur what are those things that you as an entrepreneur need to know before you start a company. And in my case, I learned it the hard way, but I think I won't make it easier for everybody else, really. So without further ado, I'll jump into it. So first thing first that you need to learn as an entrepreneur is that you have to open a company with three kinds of models. Okay. And you'll have to decide three things about the company. First thing first is that you'll have to decide if it's going to be a proprietorship, if it is going to be a partnership, or whether it's going to be a limited company. So in my case, I had no doubt that I wanted to create a limited company, because when you create a limited organization, that is considered more legitimate in the context of, receiving funds and receiving, shared stakeholders and so on and so forth. And it's considered more professional in comparison to proprietorship, which is a single man army, or partnership, which is typically 2 or 3 people. So I went with limited company. And what I want to tell you is how do you start a limited company? So my company's name is Raise Joy Donations Private Limited. And how did I go about starting this company? So first thing first, you need to approach a CA, or today you can even go online, and you need to say that you have to start a company. Now, the CA will ask you for a few documentations, and the first thing to start a company is that you need to have digital signature. So he will ask you to create a digital signature. The second thing that you need to do in starting a company is to get in DCS and is to get an MOA document created, which is basically a purpose of the company. So you need to state what is the company about, what business is into, what is the service that you're going to provide, so on and so forth. So it's kind of a summary, so you need to think through that. And along with that, there's another document called the AOA document, which pretty much encompasses the legality that the company will include. So it will talk about the legal aspects, and this is a very standardized template. There's nothing for you to do. It is something which the CA will take care of. So these two things put together is what the CA will create for you. Okay, there are several documentations required, like, they will ask you for an address proof, ID proof, PAN, so on and so forth. So you need to provide all of that. And after you provide that, the CA will go and apply for your company's incorporation in the registrar of companies. Today, all of that is done centrally, and typically when you apply, after 5 days you get a response saying that your company has got incorporated. That's how quickly it is. In my case, the timeline were different. It took me more than 6 months, and there are different reasons for that. But typically, if you are in the right, if you don't have any other issues, you simply can start this company. It will take you just 5 days technically. So what you get is an email from the incorporation department in Delhi that your company has got incorporated, and you get a certificate of incorporation. So if your company has got formed, you will get a certificate of incorporation. What this means is that you can legally start doing business. Until you get this certificate, you cannot legally start a company and start doing business. You need to also, when you go and create this company, you need to decide the shareholder divisions. So if you are starting an incorporated company or a limited company, first thing you will have to do is you will have to decide on who are going to be the directors. Now any company which is a limited company requires at least 2 directors. 2. And both those directors would need to invest some money into the company. So you could say, and typically this is the lowest common denominator, you could say that this is your company, okay, and this is the share of division of your company, where director 1 is investing 25%, director 2 is investing 75%. This is the minimum, okay, or it could be 50-50%, no problems, or it could be 25-25, no problem. You could have a maximum of 200 directors if you want to, and a minimum of 2 directors. So that is a basic requirement. And typically, when you incorporate a company, the first leg of investment is 1 lakh rupees. So, if you are going to invest 1 lakh, you have to divide that into 25,000 and 75,000 between 2 directors, or you could do it anyway. So you could do it 50-50. You could even do it this way. You could give 99% to 1 director and 1% to 1 director. So you could do any combination, but it has to be 2 directors. And this is the fundamental requirement of starting a company. So let's say we are clear about the incorporation part, we are clear about allocation of shares, okay, and you got the certificate. Now, this tells you that the company is not incorporated, but what business are you going to do? So for that, you need to start engaging with various groups, so partners. And in my case, I was going to start an IT company, so I needed to have a portal and I need to create a website. So I went to a partner, and he was my technology partner, and he helped me create a website. So the development cost of a website will depend on the complexity of the portal. And if you're developing a very basic website, you could do it yourself, for example. And if you're creating a portal which has a lot of elements which are incorporated into it, it gets more complicated. Then you would need a software development team to do it. Assuming you don't have a team, you can outsource this work today. And depending on the kind of complexity, the prices would range. But if you're going to develop a complex website or a portal which has basic features, so let us say I want to develop a portal which is going to have search capacity, which is going to be doing listing, which is going to be doing payments. So these are some of the features of the website, functionalities of the website. So if you're going to do all of these in the website, then it's a fairly complex website. And this particular job would be done by a third-party website developer. Now, I will get into a bit of technology here, okay, for those who are interested in technology. But for those who are not, you can skip this part. But what I can tell you is that it will cost you anywhere between 3 lakhs to 10 lakhs. So that's your cost of development. Okay. Now, if you are into technology, you would also need to decide what kind of technologies would you want to use. So, for example, if you create a limited company and tomorrow you want to show it to a prospective owner or an investor, you would need to invest in technologies which also align with what the owner wants. So, typically, if I were you, or if I were to pick a portal, I would choose the latest technologies. So, let me give you some basic examples. So, obviously, you need to have front-end technologies, like you need to have HTML, CSS. This is the basic. You can choose other technologies in the backend. So I can choose PHP. I can use AngularJS. I can choose Ruby. I can choose Python. So there are various technologies which I can use. I can also have different types of database. The one which is right now most talked about is called MongoDB. But for this, you need a virtual server, and you need so that's going to be putting on additional costs. So you need to decide if you need a virtual server in MongoDB. But typically, this is what it would look like. Okay. So that was a bit of an intro into technology. I didn't want to get into details of it. I can get into the details of technology in creating a website, but I thought it was just sort of give you a high level idea. This would be something. So, step 1, create a company. Step 2, software development. Step 3, hiring. Obviously, a company is going to be requiring a lot of things. You need to have customer service person. You need to have development teams, you need to have sales teams, you need to have legal teams, you need to have HR teams. Today, the good part is that most of it can be outsourced. But you still need to have a very small skeletal structure. So in my case, what I've done is that I've had a very small team of individuals who are going to be the core member of the team and going to contribute to the organization. And as the organization grows, you will hire more people. So you have to decide, or your directors have to decide, what kind of a company would you want to create and what kind of a team would you want to have. But as an entrepreneur, you need to have at least some sense of the team that you will have. So the most important team is going to be the front-end team, which is going to be the sales and marketing team. Which, by the way, includes the investor also. Okay. And then the next one is, in my terminology, I'll call it the infrastructure support team, the team which is the operations team which runs it. And then you need to have the support team, which is your HR, finance, basically your cost center. So the front-end team gets you the sale. The back-end team does all the operations. It runs the company. And HR is finance or the support team that you can. Obviously, you can outsource a lot of this work. You don't have to have all these teams in one group. But this is the basic structure you need. And the operations, and I would sort of move the technology here. Because technology in itself is it's a big chunk, so you would have to think about technology as a separate. So that's the next thing that you will do. Next step is to create a prototype of your product, launch the product. Okay. So you could have people coming in, investing at this point in time, or you could go ahead and launch it based on your own financial capabilities. Once you launch a product, the team can go ahead and talk about it in various forums. You can use advertisements, you can use Facebook, social media, other forums to talk about it. You can ask your friends to come and join you in reviewing the product. And that's going to be the point of reckoning when the rubber hits the road, really. So that's one of the things that you'll have to definitely do. Once you launch the product, this becomes very subjective that you need funding. So the next steps will be to seek funding. It's an open-ended statement. You can go out and talk to various funding agencies, talk to them, show your product, see if they are interested in that product. There are so many people who are interested. There are angel funding. There are various kinds of funding which come in. So let me give you a very high-level understanding of what kinds of fundings exist in the market. So the first level of funding is called the angel funding. An angel funding is someone who funds your company when nobody else funded the company. What I mean by that is that he's an angel. He's just come across and he's giving you some money and saying, hey, I like your idea, go ahead, spend on it. Here's the check, here's the cash, go ahead and do it. Give me a stake of X in the company and you do it. You don't have any cash, just going ahead. He loves the concept, he's coming. So he's really angel. It could be your family friends, it could be your relatives, it could be anybody who's investing in the company the first time. So that's angel. Second one is called seed. So once the angel has come, you run the company, prototype is launched. For the next 6 months, you're running the company. 1 year, you run the company. Obviously, you're going to run out of cash. But now your company is big. Your company needs bigger cash flow. It is not going to run by a few lakhs here or there or a few thousand rupees. So that's when you go ahead and seek seed funding. And you seek seed funding, then you already have something in your table. So you have something to show. You've got a product, you've got a prototype, you've got a team, you've got everything. And typically these guys are the ones who will cut bigger checks. And seed funding could be in several rounds. It could be seed funding round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and typically this start from seed. And it talks about series. So this is where VCs come in. Actually, the VCs also come in the seed funding part. But the big time players come here. And the small time players come here. So series funding is when you really need a big check. If the company is a $1 billion company, or it's a company which has a prospect of becoming a $1 billion company. It's in series companies. And series can go all the way from series A to series X. So it could be as many number of funding rounds that you need. And the question you might ask is, when do you need funding? How many funding rounds do you need? So that's a question which is very subjective. You could require funding as long as you decide to go public, which is the final thing. Or you might not decide to go public ever. You might just say, I'm getting enough money. Company is growing. I'm getting people investing in the company. This is it. I'm happy. Story over. But if you have even bigger dreams to make the company go public, then you'll have to go the IPO route. It's the final destination because that's the biggest pie really, because you're going now directly to the public and seeking funds from them. So this is where these funding rounds end, typically at an IPO. And this is how funding works. So hopefully I was able to convey some good information across of starting a company, what are the basic things required in a company, how do you sort of structure the company. All of that needs to be put together to start a company. And hopefully you like this video. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.